Hey, it's Ted McGrath. So I want to talk to you about 3 personal branding mistakes that I made when I first launched my brand. So, number one, whether you're an artist or you're an entrepreneur, the most important thing to think of is what is your true message that you're trying to share in the marketplace, no matter what product it is that you're selling. Because the truth of the matter is we're going to have a lot of competitors out there who do the same thing that we do, but how do you make yourself authentic and unique in the marketplace? And that was really tough for me when I first started, for 2 reasons I'm going to tell you about right now. And also, if you like these videos, subscribe down below. If you're not subscribed to our channel already, leave some comments, posts, etc. I release new content twice a week, okay? So first thing is, I made the mistake of, I didn't have experience when I went into the coaching, consulting, speaking industry initially. So as you're doing that initially, you're trying to find your own voice, and it's hard. But I think the number one thing I learned to find my own voice was to tell my personal story. Because when you have a personal story, one, it relates to people because it's personal, and it becomes something that is highly connected on a universal level to other people, because something that's personal connects with people. Because if I talk about a loss, you think about a loss of yours. If I talk about a breakthrough and a win, you think about a breakthrough and a win to yours. That's just how storytelling is. It's not a teaching moment, it's having the experience of hearing somebody's story, going on the journey with them, and experiencing your own journey as you're watching the story. That's good storytelling. So with that, nobody else has your story in the world. So to make your brand unique, just tell your story. That's super important. Tell your story, right? And it's easy to get out there and talk about, the things that talk about how great your product is and the competitive advantage of your product. But at the end of the day, most people don't understand your product. You can't expect them to. They're not an expert in your industry. And so to expect them to understand your product and differentiate it from the start is just never going to happen. So they're going to lump you in with everybody else and go, oh, it's the same, it's the same, it's the same, it's the same. So avoid that mistake, one, by telling your story. The second thing is you really got to find what you love. I mean, I'm launching a virtual one-man play this week, and I've been doing this play for the last 7 years. And when COVID hit, it was kind of like, oh, we can't go to the festivals. We were going to Edinburgh, festival, one of the largest theater festivals in the world, and New York this year, and in Los Angeles for a tour, and it all got canceled. So it got pushed to 2021. So it's like, what do? You innovate. So from a personal branding standpoint, to sit back and get caught up in the old ways of, I can't go speak anymore, I can't go meet with people in public, you got to be in the virtual world. So we immediately shifted our play to virtual. And with one email sent to my list, I have 600 people registered for the play in the last 24 hours. So by the time the play hits on in a couple days, Thursday, I'll have 1,500 people registered for this play. So how do you do that? Well, one, you got to have a certain passion behind what you're doing. I'm an artist at heart, and probably the other mistake that I made was not getting out there and promoting my art online as much as I'm doing now, because it's a necessity. To think about that, we would have to do, one of the play runs we did here in Hollywood recently was a 6-week run, and we're going to get in front of, in one virtual performance, what it took us 6 weeks to get in front of audience. In 6 weeks, in one virtual performance now. And listening to how other people have done it in your industry, I think, is a waste of time. I think you have to spend the time to innovate what you're doing and do something that you're passionate about, and know that you can innovate and create a new way of doing it. A lot of people are going to have a different perspective on virtual performances or virtual acting or things of that nature because they're stuck in the old way. The old way is dead. And if you're going to build a brand in the future, you have to learn and realize that the virtual world is the new way. In fact, it's been the new way for years and years and years and years and years now. COVID is the thing that forced the late adopters to get in the game and actually learn, what is a webinar? What is this virtual thing? How do you get this Zoom thing to work? Anybody who's been intelligent in business in the last 10 years has figured this game out a while ago. And it's taken a while. The rest of the world is like, having a problem right now going, what do we do? What do we do? The innovators are not having this problem. Look at the top people on the planet, the Amazons, the Teslas. What are they doing? They are forward thinkers. In times like this, they thrive because the rest of the world gets left behind, and they continue to gain market share. That's what happens when you decide to build a brand that isn't in agreement with the rest of the group and people in society. You create something that's so great, people who disagreed before start to agree, and they come on board, and that's the game. You know, if you look at it, what Elon Musk is doing right now, it's brilliant. Why has his stock, reached the valuations that it wasn't supposed to reach for another 20 years or so? Because he's selling the future. That's what he's doing. And you need to take your brand into the future and stop listening to what's only going on in your industry and take pieces of what's working and what's successful and duplicate it, but you have to innovate in a way, which is why in launching my personal brand, not only are we taking the play that I'm doing, right, and launching it and doing a performance, but afterwards I'm taking my skill sets from my brand of Message to Millions, which is teaching entrepreneurs how to get their message, products, services, and programs to millions. I'm then teaching people after the play. So I'm mixing two things together. Now, if I follow the traditional way of business and art don't mix, which is like this thing that people have been saying for years, it's like if I had done that and listened to everybody else, I wouldn't be thriving in both the areas that I'm thriving in right now, right? Because I'm listening to what other people are saying, and most of them have no idea what they're talking about. So go with your gut. Go with what you think you should do for your brand. Most people have limitations on how they think about what's possible in the world. Do not look and make decisions through their lens or through your eyes. Make it through yours. And if you do that and you stay aligned with what's true to you, what you're passionate about, you're going to build one of the greatest personal brands out there on the planet. And I'm only just beginning with mine. The fact that we've reached millions and made millions and we get thousands of new customers a month in our business, the fact that we're doing that is like a small, tiny thing at this point compared to where we're going with this new social platform that we're all launching for artists and entrepreneurs, which is launching already, right? So we're excited about it. So subscribe to the channel. More content's coming on all different topics of branding, messaging, products, services, how to get your art to the world, how to be the brand. It's for you, okay? So subscribe, leave a comment, like it. Hope you dig this. See you soon.